Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tia, aka Teacup Simmer, and this is part 2 of our Sims 4 Four Immortal Siblings house build. So this is basically the second part of the house build that I started a few days ago. So if you guys want to see that part, I'm going to leave a link in the description box and on the card on the video. This is basically the part where I go in and do the interior and all the decorating of the house. Right now I'm focusing on the Fire siblings room and their bathroom. A lot of the video was kind of cut out because unfortunately, like I said in the first part, you guys, my recorder was kind of being weird, so all the video is kind of like choppy, but I included most of it and you still get to see me do a lot of decorating for this siblings room and for the other rooms. So for this siblings room, each sibling basically has to have specific things in their room that are part of the challenge. You can't have certain luxuries, but you can have a lot of decorations. Decorations are pretty much free. You can do whatever you want with decorations, but they have to have required things. So for the fire sibling, that's a double bed and or a coffin, a fireplace, a mirror, a bar, a music player, and a bathroom. And so basically I made her bathroom, our fire sibling's name is Pyra, and you guys will get to meet her in part 1 of our challenge, but I kind of focused a lot on like the aesthetic of her room because she is a very strong personality, and so it was kind of easy figuring out the type of like decorations that would work for her, the lighting, the coloring, of course, because fire, red, of course. She has her fireplace. It looks amazing. I love the new wallpaper that we got with the new pack because it has that weird shimmer to it when you look at it certain ways, and so it looks really pretty. But I added some seating arrangement, and now that I look back at it, actually I kind of wanted to add a couch because it's easier to seduce people on a couch. Just be real, because the fire sibling in our challenge is going to be having all of the babies, so she kind of has to like get up close and personal with a lot of different sims. So but having those chairs are not considered luxuries, so you can kind of add as many as you want. I decided to make the vanity because when I was looking through trying to see what would be considered a mirror, and I think the vanity is considered a mirror, you guys, so it's not a luxury item. It would be a version of a mirror. You can't have multiple ones because that would also be considered a luxury if you had multiple of them, but if you had one vanity, I think that's fine. So I used a vanity for the mirror part of the fire siblings room, and I kind of kept with this like elegant look. All of the rooms use a lot of the stuff from the new pack, and there's absolutely no CC in this build. It took a lot of personal strength not to use any of my CC because I have a ton of CC, but I had actually had a lot of stuff to work with in this pack, so I'm not that upset about it. I thought about making it a little bit more spooky, so I added a few cobwebs to the top of her fireplace, but I took them away eventually because it doesn't feel like it fits, because this house is pretty new for the siblings. It's something that was built specifically for them and for their needs, so I thought it would be kind of silly to have cobwebs because it's not an old house. It's just decorated for people who are a little bit more Victorian, a little bit more classy. But I had a really fun time decorating her room. A lot of the rooms I had to put a lot of thought into, like putting into the thought of what each sibling was like, the differences, and then the requirements for the challenge. And most of the requirements for the challenge are going to be kind of living, like I said, it's a living document. Like I'm gonna make changes to the challenge. If you guys want to see the rules, there's gonna be a link in the description box below, but I put it together just like with a basic edits to the original Four Immortal Sisters challenge, but I made a lot of changes and a lot of like additions to it to include a lot of the stuff that we got in the in the vampire pack, so I wanted to make sure we included a lot of that stuff. But because of that, and because I included a ton of that stuff, a lot of things may not exactly work the way they're supposed to, so I had to kind of improvise. Right now I started working on the Air siblings bathroom. This is Zephyr's bathroom. I made it pretty sparse. He is not as elaborate as his sister, and this is part got cut out, unfortunately, because I lost the video for making his room. We'll probably see pieces of it, and you guys will see a little bit more of it in the screenshots and when I go over it. But his room is really pretty. It focuses a lot on pictures, and I'll show you guys, not on pictures but on music and color. And his color is technically, the Air siblings color is supposed to be white, but because I'm not that big of a pure white fan, I went with a lot of purple in his room, and then I went with a lot of white in his study. And so the study is actually really cool just because it looks more like a mini library, and it's the only place with a computer because the Air sibling is one of their requirements is to have a study, so a computer desk, a computer chair, a computer, and bookshelves. And then they are supposed to have a bed, a bathroom, kids learning room, and kids toys and learning objects and chairs for homework, and desks, and then one skill item so that they can make money. And so I eventually give him a painting easel, which I'm probably going to change that into some form of instrument, because even though he painting is the best way to make money, I think he would probably focus more on music than on painting. It's something, just because that seems more like his personality. He'll probably make more money hacking on the computer or something like that. And let me see, for the study, it was actually a lot of work because I had to work with the strange setup of the house. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it because I took from one of my favorite builders, Soph Sims. I love her to death. And she basically just does the entire outside of the house and then puts everything together on the inside afterwards. And I kind of took from her playbook, and I was just trying to basically work with the space I had, which makes everything feel a little bit more organic and a little bit more oh yeah, we had to fit this here, and this is how decorating kind of actually works. You kind of work with the space you have, and so I think it looks a little bit more realistic than just straight boxes or trying to fit a specific room size wherever you want it. So having this strange L-shaped study seems a little bit more realistic. So I was trying to figure out a way to decorate it, and I stuck a lot with the whites and the really studious, the tomes, and I think I used a quill pen at some point because I thought it looked really cool. But the Air sibling is pretty much the one who teaches all the kids, focuses a lot on skills, and in our challenge, the Air sibling is really focused on being the best vampire that he can be, and he looks after his family and teaches the kids, of course, but he really wants to master a lot of his vampire skills. So he is going to be really interesting as he studies all of the Encyclopedia Vampirica in his study, trying to ignore the hustle and bustle down in the bottom of the house where his family is raising a bunch of kids. And there you see pieces of his room. I made it very purple. You see those jazz pictures, which originally I didn't know what I was going to put on that wall, but the jazz pictures work so well. And then if you guys saw in the trailer, which I'll also link in the description box, the trailer, he plays the organ. He actually has pretty good organ skill at this point. So he really likes music, and that's a little bit of a softer side of him, because he is kind of that. Zephyr is very more of a cold, I don't really want to deal with people type of sim, and I like him. I think he's my favorite. And you guys will probably learn more about him in part 1 of our challenge, and I probably won't be able to explain everything in this build, but I have to explain some stuff so you guys know the choices that I'm making. The bottom actually took me I think it took me a lot less time than I expected it to be, just because the other siblings are more they're not as focused on their rooms. Like Pyra spends a lot of time in her room, and so does Zephyr, just because a lot of their skills suffer in their rooms, and they spend a lot of time. Pyra spends a lot of time going and finding people and then having babies, because she's the one who's going to have all the babies in the challenge. And then Zephyr spends most of his time on his computer and studying and working on skills. For this one, I'm working on Tara's room. Tara is the Earth sibling, and the Earth sibling's room is hers is actually my favorite, just because I get to use a lot of plants, and I love using plants. If you guys see a lot of my other challenges, I love messing with plants and having gardens. It's always so fun. It's one of my favorite things. But her requirements are, she needs a bed. She can either have a double, single, or a coffin. Doesn't really matter, because she doesn't necessarily need to have any children. And with our challenge, I'm not saying that she can't, but it's for story wise, I'm not saying that she can't, but it's not her goal to have kids. Her other requirements are, she needs gardening objects, so a planter box, bowl, or access to open ground. She needs a yoga mat and exercise equipment. So a yoga mat and the exercise equipment are separate. I absolutely love the flowers that I added, and I end up adding, I'm trying to show if I do it now, I end up adding a yoga mat, and it actually works. Like, I didn't have to do any finagling. I didn't have to do anything. I just set it there, and then when I had them try and like come and see if all the objects worked, the yoga mat totally works, and it looks amazing with her just doing her yoga in the middle of like her greenhouse. It looks so cool. I love the greenhouse. The greenhouse is my favorite part. But she, like I said, she needs the yoga mat and then one form of exercise equipment. So she can have either like a treadmill or a punching bag or whatever, but she can't have multiple ones. If you get more than that, then those would be considered luxury. She can have at least one, and it wouldn't be considered a luxury. And then she needs a training area which would be like an open area for vampire sparring and power practice. Because we don't have any kids yet, the open area is pretty much just the backyard, and I just kind of left it open. At some point, I'm probably going to define an area like a sand pit where they're going to have to practice their powers. Mostly it's just the siblings right now, so we don't have to worry about that too much, but it's not something that's going to cost a lot of money, so I don't really have to worry about it. Now I'm working on the water siblings room, and his room is pretty straightforward. He does not need a lot of stuff. Calder is more focused on like the actual home and not necessarily his room. He just sleeps in his room, and in the challenge I say that you guys can do like either single beds, double beds, or coffins. You don't necessarily need to do coffins. I just did all coffins just because I actually just wanted to use a lot of the coffins, and because I thought they worked the same way for what I needed, and so it looks kind of cool to have all coffins. And so Calder's room, he doesn't really need anything in his room necessarily, and I loved having fun just messing with his colors. And I end up adding like this really cool fountain in the corner that is like a little glowy. There it is. It's super pretty. Like, it has absolutely nothing to do with anything. It's just really pretty decorative, and I thought it would be like the place where he did his dark meditation or something. But he needs a bed, double, single, or a coffin. He needs a kitchen, so a stove, a fridge, a sink, and counters, and an eating area, so a table with chairs. His required item also includes kids' bedrooms. I started, and in the challenge I also specify you should start with 2 bedrooms and then work your way up. So anything else outside of those 2 bedrooms would be considered a luxury. And then he gets a bathroom, and then I spent most of his bathroom is the only one with an included shower and tub, just because he's going to be the one to bathe all the kids. But pretty much the entire bottom half of the room or the house is pretty much his. Everything there is technically his required skilled items, so they're basically his colors, his aesthetic. So I stuck with a lot of light blues, a lot of brown woods, a lot of light grays, stuff that kind of works with the water siblings theme. And he is super cute. I think Calder is adorable, which is why I had a lot of fun with that. And as you guys know, blue is my favorite color, so I had a lot of fun putting together the kitchen and his room, just being able to use a lot of light blues and kind of go ham on the kitchen and hit the living room and everything. And I didn't add a TV or anything like that, and that's actually while I was messing around trying to see how everything would work. That is also one of those things that I recommend you get at the first opportunity, because it's because the TV is considered a luxury, you'd have to buy it with earned simoleons, so it's something that you'd have to focus on getting and pay with your own money and the money that you use for the challenge, because you can't use them, it's not part of decorations. So, and right now, at least when I was playing around, the Sims pretty much don't have anything to do besides work on their skills. And since there aren't any kids, some of them, like Calder doesn't have anything to do. Tara doesn't necessarily have anything to do. She just exercises. So having getting some of those luxuries really quickly is something I definitely recommend. But I'm pretty sure those are all of the specific areas for each sibling. I do the kids room, the two different kids rooms. I do a toddler / baby room, and then a child / teen room upstairs, because I figured the baby room should be downstairs, and they include and they each have their own sets of toys and skill items and things like that. So it means that Zephyr would have to go up and downstairs just to take care of the kids, but that's fine. If he wants to, he'd have to go see them anyway. But let me see, what else am I doing right now? I'm just trying to decorate the rest of the living room and trying to figure out the right colors, just because I didn't want to use the same colors as Calder's room, but I wanted to still keep with that blue. And I had so much fun using all of the Victorian style wallpapers and items, and everything in this pack really meshes well. It doesn't feel like it just kind of came out of nowhere and nothing goes with it. It looks like we had a ton of stuff here already in the game that kind of went with the new theme, and so it doesn't feel out of place. So it's easy enough to just kind of pull stuff from what was already there and put everything together. Truthfully, I don't normally use a lot of EA stuff. I use a lot of CC. I use a lot of CC for curtains and for wallpapers and flooring and even woods. I absolutely love the wood. And if you guys saw what I did with the wood multiple times upstairs, I end up doing this interesting pattern where I use one wood in between every 4. It makes this really cool look. It looks almost like tile, and I like it. So I kind of put it together for that reason, and I thought it add a really cool aesthetic. I end up changing where the dining room is just because I don't necessarily like it. I don't like that it's squished right there, and I'm not sure what I'm going to add in that corner, because right now there isn't anything there, but I feel once we get once the siblings start making money and the challenge starts going on, I'm going to end up having something to put there. But currently nothing really goes there, so you guys can kind of fill it in with whatever you want. This house is going to be up on the gallery. Currently it already is up. It's all underneath my Origin ID, which is teacup_simmer1. If you guys want to check it out, it's on my profile. And if you guys want to find it on a lot of my builds, you can also look under the hashtag teacupsimmer. Some of my builds always have the modded check, so you might want to check custom content or modded when you look, but this one has no custom content, so you should be fine if you just search hashtag teacupsimmer. You can also search hashtag Four Immortal Siblings, and you'll be able to find the house. I had a lot of fun putting this together. It's one of the houses I'm super proud of, just because I actually spent a lot of time working on making it look really nice and putting the building together, and it's one of those ones where it makes me want to build more. That's basically it. It makes me want to build things and put things together for Sims and use them and have people use them and put them up in the gallery, just because I like putting things together and making them look pretty, and this one actually turned out really nice. So I end up having screenshots at the end. I'm not sure if we're close to those right now. We're not super close to the screenshots, but I'm gonna let you guys finish watching it so you guys can see when I put together the 2 rooms. I'm trying to decide if I want to just keep talking because I don't have anything else to talk about. What do I talk about? I'm not sure. I'm really excited about this challenge. I've been pubbing it on Twitter and on Tumblr. I've been trying to post screenshots of the, not screenshots, but like little cast photos of each of the siblings so you guys can kind of get to know them before we start the challenge. I'm trying not to make this too story heavy because when I focus too much on story, I like get freaked out and I don't and I like spend too much time thinking about putting it together. Like it took me forever to figure out what I was gonna do for part 1, but if I just kind of relax and just chill and try and put this together and try and just think of it as like, oh yeah, I'm just playing, then it'll be a little bit easier. But I have some pictures up on Tumblr and on Twitter. I'm probably going to post some more today while this video is rendering because I'm going to spend a lot of time photo editing. I'm trying to do Tumblr more. Doing Tumblr is super hard. I did not realize it was going to be that hard. I started posting pictures from my Child of the Night simlet that I've decided to do. Like I was having fun when I was testing out the new game pack, and so I made a character and placed her in Forgotten Hollow, and I updated one of the houses. I don't think I recorded the update. I don't think I recorded the way I was updating the houses, but I recorded it and everything, and I put it together. And I decided not to put it up on the channel, but I did post it on Tumblr, and I put it, and I ended up making screenshots and a little banner. It looks super cute, and I don't know if people actually like it, but I'm having fun posting it. And I'm still pretty new to Tumblr. Like I don't do much with it, but I'm having fun testing it out. And this is the toddler/baby room. We're probably going to end up having multiple bassinets, but that's just the first one I had, and that's just a recolor. That one's not an actual modded, so it isn't actually included. It just says it doesn't make the house turn into a modded house, so it's just a recolor of the actual base game. What else was I thinking? But it looks super cute. I actually like the room. It took me a while to figure out how I was going to include the upstairs room because the bottom room is for the toddlers and the babies, and then the upstairs room is for the teens and the kids. But originally I just wanted to make a skill room, so there was an area where the kids could do their homework, but that didn't work out that well, so I just included a desk. I might end up having to expand in certain areas, and that might be what the that area next to the ferry turns into. I'm not even sure why I added that ferry, but the area next to the ferry it could turn into a small skill area or homework area for kids, just because I don't know where else to put that. But let me see. I turned the bathroom right there. I think that's just Tara's bathroom. Originally it was going to be the kids' bathroom, but I just turned it into Tara's just because it seemed easier, but the kids can access it too. And I think the potty for the toddlers is down there. And then I'm just making some last minute recolors of the house, because while I was recoloring inside, it kind of ended up outside for some reason, which I'm not sure how. I'm never sure how that happens, but now I'm working on the teen/kid room, because this is where that's where the kids and the teens would stay. At some point, if this ends up if we end up having too many kids at one time, I'm probably going to end up expanding it, or just adding a separate room. I'm not sure. I might add a basement. If I add a basement, that's probably what's going to happen. I'll end up adding the basement, and this room will become the kid room, and then the basement will become the teen room. And so we'll have separate areas for each life stage, which sounds like it would work fine. But like I said, this started out as like a skill room. Like I wasn't even thinking about it, and I just started placing skill items in. And then when I realized that I was just placing skill items and I had absolutely no beds, then I was like, oh yeah, I can't actually do that. So I took everything out. I changed it up, made it into like a kid teen room, and I put the easel right over there, but the easel's probably gonna leave at some point because I think I'm definitely gonna add in some form of like a violin, or if we get a basement, I'm definitely adding an organ, just because I think it would be a really cool thing to add in. I'm trying to decide if I'd be able to add it in on like the top level, because it's definitely something he would want to have, is because he got really used to using an organ while he was at Vlad's mansion, learning from him, which is something you guys will learn also more about when in the first part of the challenge. Like there's so much that I want to like wait to tell you guys about, but I don't, and because I don't want to spoil it, and I don't really know if it would be spoiled, just because it's not really a secret. But it looks like the screenshots are going to come up now. I started landscaping, and I kind of cut out after this because I didn't want you guys to have to watch me landscape the entire house. But I love landscaping. It's so pretty. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please let me know. If you guys want to see more of these types of builds, probably not one that's in 2 parts, you can also let me know down in the comments below. Please leave a like and subscribe if you really love me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. I could shoot